Hello, and welcome back to the Cosmic Compass podcast. We are deviating from our typical astrocartography and locational astrology episodes and doing a little Q&A. I'm just getting over a cold, my voice is starting to come back, and I thought what better way to celebrate today, the first day getting off of a difficult L4 in my Lot of Fortune in my zodiac releasing, which any of you in my Trust Your Timeline course, my timing and zodiacal releasing course, know what I'm talking about. But essentially, I've been in difficult health periods in my level 4, which is a daily level, for the last week and a half. And so let's celebrate. Today is the first day getting out of a difficult L4, and I'm finally starting to get over this cold, and my voice is starting to come back. So, wow, zodiac releasing, always spot on, always spot on. Incredible. If you don't know zodiac releasing, an incredible timing technique that can time your life, everything from career growth, success, and recognition for your life's work, your life's purpose, but you can find so much more information about health and all of the things. It's so fascinating. I teach all about this in my Trust Your Timeline course. But aside from getting over a cold and my astrology perfectly matching up with getting over this illness, let's do a Q&A episode. I like to do these personal Q&As every so often, every once in a while. I like to mix it up a little bit. It's really fun to answer your questions, those of you that listen to the podcast, answering your questions, but also putting in a little bit of astrology mixed in as well. I hope you're having a beautiful week and pumped and excited for Venus in Libra, Mars in Scorpio. What a nice, magical time in the astrology right now. I hope you're enjoying it and using it to your benefit. Let's get started with the Q&A. I get all of my questions from Instagram and Instagram stories, so definitely go follow me over at Ms. Helena Woods, and I will answer all of your questions in the future. Let's get started. So this first question actually sparked the idea to do a Q&A. This person asked, I noticed you seem to have a furnished living place, and your clothes seem to be of high variety. That's the Venus in Gemini, high variety clothing. Are you amazing at releasing new to allow more new to continuously flow through? And the answer is yes. I am someone that is very comfortable in surrendering, in letting go, in releasing. Maybe it's the Scorpio rising, but my entire life has been one thing after the other of releasing and regenerating, transforming who I am, going through the ringer my whole childhood to end up being the person that I am now. And a lot of that has been letting go of possessions and not holding on or feeling like I am tied to my possessions. I don't at all feel that my possessions are the end all be all of my life. Maybe this is because I saw a lot of my friends growing up in Southern California have their homes burned down. And a lot of my friends in grade school and working in community theater as a little girl, I saw so many people's houses burn down and they lose all of their things. And also my mom and I, we lost everything when I was a little girl. And because of that, moving around all the time and having to restart my life over in new places. And also now as an adult, moving to new countries, new cities across France. The last 7 years, we have moved every year since 2017, my husband and I. Because of this constant change, I am so comfortable in releasing what's not me anymore and also releasing things in general because I'm not tied to possessions. I mean it when I say that all of my possessions in my house could be gone tomorrow and I would be okay. And I really hope that that doesn't come across as privileged, although I'm sure it will to many people. But I am not attached to my things. I'm attached to my husband. I'm attached to my friends. I'm attached to my mom. I'm attached to people more than I am things. And so the ease of releasing things in every new location is so easy for me. It's so easy to let go of furniture. It's so easy to let go of clothes. It's so easy to let go of handbags because it is not a reflection of my soul and my life. And also, when you move every year like I have been since 2017, you just stop caring. The first 3 to 4 years, I was quite attached to my stuff. And then it just got way easier because every new place I have to start over again. There was also something really incredible about moving to France when I was 24. My husband and I had just gotten married, and we sold all of our furniture in Facebook groups and on Craigslist. And we got rid of all of our stuff except for 2 suitcases each. And then we moved to France with 2 suitcases each. Once you do that, once you move to a new country and start your life over with 2 suitcases, you can't really see life the same way again. And so for me, I have become very accustomed to letting go and releasing things, specifically possessions often, because this is just a way of life and there is no meaning or attachment to these things. They don't hold meaning for me. They are just stuff. They're just things. Now, I will say one thing, one caveat. The furniture that we recently bought, my husband and I recently bought furniture for our apartment here in Versailles, and we spent a lot of money on our furniture, like more money than I've ever spent in my life on furniture. Bolia is the name of the furniture company that we went with to get our coffee table, a little side table, as well as our couch. I also got a cabinet space and a dresser for my bedroom, all from Bolia. Very, very expensive. High quality wood. I've never had high quality wood like this in my life. It smells like a forest in my house. It's incredible. But it was very expensive. And we will absolutely be schlepping all of this furniture to our next place, wherever we end up. If we end up in Denmark, if we end up somewhere else, the furniture will be going with us because that stuff was pretty expensive. And also, we just love it. The next question is, what is your process for getting a visa and knowing that country's requirements? Well, I would simply Google the country you're interested in moving to and then Google the visa requirements. For me, I've been on a visa for my husband's job. How we got to France, my husband got a job, which gave him a work visa, which allowed me to be here and work too. So that's the process for getting a visa. There's so many different visas for many different countries. I recommend the non-lucrative visa for Spain. There's golden visas. There's passive income visas, digital nomad visas. I have a lot of friends that are on different passive income visas. I would recommend, if you want to get to know your country and the visa requirements, just Google the country and Google the visa. I also have a class called GTFO, Get the F Out, and there's a whole section in that astrocartography class where I teach you about relocation charts and what to look for to find home in the world. And in that class, I also go in depth on the easiest countries to move to and the visas and the visa requirements for each country. So if you want to check that out, learn more, GTFO, you can find all the details down below. Next question, what do you do when it comes to your books? I take my books with me. When I first moved to France, I brought 4 or 5 books. Some of the must books that I brought with me were Power of Now, Callings, Finding and Following an Authentic Life, my favorite book of all time. It will be with me in my grave when I am dead. That book will be with me. Callings, Finding and Following an Authentic Life. It's that book I brought with me from the US to France. It's my most treasured favorite book of all time. I also have a book called Crossroads, The Crossroads of Should and Must. That's a great book. So I brought 4 to 5 books with me when I moved to France. But now I have a massive library of books, and I absolutely take them with me every time I move. Not travel, but when I move. And also someone asked, what about your books? Are you mostly a Kindle reader or e-reader? I am not an e-reader, Kindle type of person. I'm obsessed with the pages and the smells of books. I love turning a crisp page and writing my thoughts in the paragraphs and annotating and scrawling my ideas all over in the pages. That's the type of reader that I am. However, I recently did just get an iPad that's small enough to be in the size of a book. It's one of the smaller versions of the iPad. And I also got the little pen that comes with it. So I can now download all of my books from Amazon Kindle, and I can highlight and annotate my thoughts on the iPad. So this is a new development, brand new. I haven't started doing this yet. I'm just getting my books downloaded now, but this is a new habit that I'm trying to build. I don't know how I can keep up with the vast library that I now have. It is overwhelming how many books I have. There's books in every corner of the house. There's books in the bathroom. There's books in the living room. There's books in the media room. There's all these books all over my bedroom. They're everywhere in this house. And it's starting to get overwhelming how many books I have. So I'm trying to now begin the habit of switching to digital, but we'll see how that goes because I'm such a traditional type of book person. Do you store your belongings or sell or donate? How is Alex able to move if he teaches? So, over the last 6 years, we've been putting our furniture, or we haven't had actually furniture until now. This is the first year that we've purchased any furniture. But in the last 7 years, we have been putting our belongings, our boxes, into storage units. And then we go travel for the summer for 3 months, go back to the storage unit, and then get our boxes and set up camp somewhere else. We've been doing that every single year since 2017. 2017, we left the United States. We got all this furniture. We sold them. 2018, we moved to France with 2 suitcases. And every year since then, we've been putting our stuff in storage, boxes only. We didn't really have much to begin with or at all over the last 7 years. It's not until now that we have furniture. But we'd put our stuff in storage and then go travel for 3 months and then come back and move again. 7 years. We're exhausted. This was Uranus and Taurus, going over my sun and my husband's moon. It's been a doozy. How is Alex able to move if he teaches? So his job moves us every year. His job, he has a max contract of 2 to 3 years. So he cannot legally teach at the same university for more than 2 or 3 years. Past 3 years, he has to move. And so each job and some of the locations we've been in have not been ideal for us. And so because of that, we've moved every year. And so he doesn't have a job where it's like he's been at one university all 7 years. Gosh, I wish that would have been magical. His job is the reason why we relocated every single year since 2017. So his job allows us the flexibility to travel and move about as we please. As a stay-at-home mom, how do I plan travel considering a great trip for the whole family? This I answer in my free gift I've created for you, the Mapping Mysteries Revealed. This is a free podcast audio experience where I answer this in depth. I think it's episode 3. There's 3 mini 10-minute episodes where I answer this question. So I'm going to recommend that you go there. To the person who asked this, I'll include a link to Mapping Mysteries Revealed down below. But this would go a little bit deeper, and that would be a whole podcast episode for that. So get that free gift, and you can download it, and my question is answered. That question is answered in that free gift that I've made for you. We have so many book questions. I have 5 people that ask about books. How light, heavy do you travel when you move to a new country to stay for a while? So when we move places, it's usually with the intention of 1 year. And so when we move somewhere for 1 year, we usually have about 6 suitcases and about 5 to 6 boxes of items. However, now it's a different story because we have furniture and we have way more possessions than we used to have. However, over the last 7 years, we've simply moved our suitcases and our boxes. And how we've done this is we will rent a car and put all of our boxes and possessions in that rent-a-car, and then we drive to the new location. This has been the easiest thing for us. Again, anytime we have way too much stuff, I get rid of it. So anything that's not essential, needed, or we can part ways with, I purge through a lot of our stuff before we go. And as a Scorpio rising, I don't know, it's very easy for me to let go because I know that new transformation is coming, a new beginning is coming, and you have to burn down what's not working in order to start a new beginning. Phoenix must rise from the ashes. And so for me, getting rid of stuff and moving to a new place and starting over, super easy, super simple. And I want to talk about normalizing things because I really believe that a lot of things in life aren't as hard as we think they are, but it's simply a mindset. Normalizing something. This is really a key secret, I think, to success, to anything that you do in life, is when you normalize something in your life, it becomes simple. It becomes easy. For example, posting on social media and getting a ton of hate in my comments as I have been the last 2 weeks. This is normal because I have very opinionated thoughts and ideas, and I have strong values, and I talk about them on social media. People are going to start fights in the comments. That's normal. Being seen, being watched online by a lot of people, totally normal. Moving every year, totally normal. This is easy. This is doable. This is absolutely a simple process. Starting over and making new friends in a new location, easy. Hi, I'm Helena. What's your name? Life can be super simple and easy, but it's about intentionally creating and cultivating a different mindset and normalizing something. normalizing making a lot of money, normalizing having six-figure launches, normalizing a lot of people watching you, normalizing life getting to be easier, normalizing opportunities coming out of thin air, normalizing love and being adored, worshiped, and obsessed over by your partner, normalizing moving and starting over every year. When you mindset-wise normalize it, it really does become simple. For me, moving is simple, easy, normal. However, I will say I am sick of it. I am sick of it. This is why we're on year 2 here in Versailles, why I bought furniture. I bought furniture because I intentionally set the intention. And I told Alex when we bought the furniture, I said, honey, this is a declaration to the universe. We are telling the universe that we are going to be here at least 2 years, maybe 3. And then we'll consider moving if this isn't our forever place anymore. And so Alex and I have realized in this year that we are going to move, but we are still here for a much longer time than we thought we were going to be. You know, usually we're in a place for 1 year. We're here for 2 to 3 years. And then from there, we'll decide where we're going to go next. But that was an intention that we created to kind of set the foundation, set the storyline. So ask yourself, what is an intention statement, or what is something that you want to normalize in your life? Or even what is something that you want to declare out loud to the universe, to call in? And what do you want to declare to normalize? In other words, what in your life do you want to make normal? Declare it, state it, set the normalization vibration. Ask for what you wish for. Declare what you want with joy and excitement, and start to watch how life changes based on your mindset and your perception. So that's about as heavy as it is. It's like 6 suitcases, 6 boxes that are pretty big. And when I'm traveling, it's usually a carry-on or maybe a carry-on and a bigger suitcase. Usually it's when I'm traveling solo for a week to 2 weeks, it's a carry-on and a duffel bag. When I'm going somewhere for 3 months, because sometimes I'll go travel and be schlepping around from one country to another, I'll usually bring a checked bag, my away carry-on suitcase, which I love. My away carry-on suitcases, I have been using since 2017, and they are still rock solid. They are still such good quality. They have lasted so long, and I'm so proud of them. Thank you, away carry-on. And I have like normal away suitcases too. I have the big check bags and I have the carry-ons. I keep getting more of them because they last. Whereas when I go to Target and I'm in the US because I need a quick suitcase, that suitcase gets destroyed on the first flight. It is insane how cheap so many suitcases are. Not away. Away suitcases will last you. They're expensive, but they will last you 10 years. And if you do want to get my favorite suitcases, away suitcases, I'll include a link down below in the show notes and the description so you guys can check them out. I swear by them. They're my favorite. Someone asked, how do you curate without it being boring or limited? I don't really curate, to be honest. My wardrobe, my clothes are very multifaceted. There's a lot of variety. It's because my Venus is in Gemini. I like to put on different hats and wear different characters every single day. No day is exactly the same, and that's evidenced in my wardrobe. And so my first thing I would say, though, is if you want to have a curated minimalist wardrobe, which I think is, honestly, I think it's a brilliant idea. I think some of the most successful people in life have a very simple curated wardrobe. Here are my tips for you. My first tip would be to stick to 1 to 3 color palettes. So if you know the colors that you don't want to have in your wardrobe, don't buy anything in that color. So for instance, I never buy anything in the color green. Get green away from me. Unless it's on a plant in my house, I don't want to see the color green in my house. I don't like the color green in terms of my features, right? So I don't get anything in green. Although in this dress that I'm wearing right now, I have this video on YouTube, there is a little bit of green. So this is very different, but I don't do green. Same with brown, like a soily brown color. I don't do brown. So I would ask yourself, what is my color palette? What are the 3 colors that I stick to? And I'm only gonna buy in those colors. This kind of creates your signature look. So for instance, all of my clothes in my closet, 90% of it is mainly pink, periwinkle blue, and yellow and white. White would be the next color. I'm starting to add some black to my closet a little bit, but it's mainly pink, periwinkle blue, light baby blue, and yellow. Those are the three colors in my wardrobe with some white in there as well. So stick to your signature look, your signature colors, and avoid colors that are not in your signature look. The other thing I would do is to get a lot of accessories. You don't need to have a lot of clothes, but your accessories can make or break your outfit, and they also can just make the outfit so different. Different belts, hats, handbags. And in terms of jewelry, a necklace can completely change a look. Headbands can completely change a look. Different earrings. I am someone that when I'm traveling and I buy something abroad, it's usually in jewelry pieces or accessories because I know that it's going to be easy to take home and pack with me in my suitcase. But also, I know that accessories can completely change the tone, the style, and the whole vibe of an outfit. So you can recycle and repeat your outfits a million times over, but they're gonna look different because you put a different headband with it, or you put it with a belt that's super different, or you added a handbag and a different pair of sandals that completely change the look. So my recommendation for curating a wardrobe without it being boring or limited is focus on accessories, headbands, hats, handbags, and jewelry, and then also stick to your wardrobe color palette and vary it up within the spectrum of those 3 to 4 colors. Next question we have is from Brooke. She said, do you ever feel unprepared for events, or do you always have emergency things like medication, books, and a light, etc.? I usually have everything that I need in my suitcase. So books, yes, I usually bring a book with me. I always have medication stuff, all of those essential things, yes. But I would say that I'm mainly unprepared because I know that when I'm at that next location, wherever I'm at, I know I can go to the pharmacy. I know I can get some Band-Aids there. I know I can get my medicine there if I need it. If it's something that's more urgent, like you have to take a certain medication every day, obviously prepare that and bring that with you. But overall, for me, when I'm traveling, I know that wherever I'm going will have that. Unless I'm going somewhere rural where it takes 30 minutes to get anywhere, or I have to rent a car in order to drive anywhere to get the things I need. Most of the places I'm going to, either big cities or smaller towns, will have the basic necessities of a pharmacy, a store. The things I need, they are there. And if I don't have a book, well, I can read New York Times or I can read articles online. If I can listen to podcasts if I need some mental stimulation. And that's a tip that I really recommend. Before you travel a long distance, download all of your podcast episodes so that they are ready to go for you on the plane in case you forget a book or something. You have everything on your phone. I will say my husband would answer this differently though. When he and I are traveling together, my Virgo husband, who has a Virgo sun and Mars, he is always prepared. He has a first aid kit. He has umbrellas. He has everything you could need in his pouch, his little bag that he brings with him. He is always prepared. But when I'm traveling alone and traveling solo, I don't bring any of that stuff. I don't bring a first aid kit. I don't bring Band-Aids. I don't bring any of that stuff. I just bring the bare essentials of what I know I will need. And if I need something when I'm there, I'll get it there. Here are the top things that I'm always bringing with me on my travels. Noise canceling headphones, non-negotiable. This is because I'm very sensitive to sound and noise, and when you're on a flight or a train, or you're just in a loud city or a train station where everything's kind of overwhelming and hectic, it's so important to be able to have something that's noise canceling so you can zone out the noise. We're already kind of stressed when we're traveling to begin with, but having all the sounds and the external stimulation can kind of amplify that. So noise canceling headphones are non-negotiable. I also love to bring a small blanket, or in my current case, a small cashmere scarf. I love a soft 100% cashmere scarf because it acts not only as a scarf when it's cold, and if it gets chilly on the plane or the train, or there's a lot of air conditioning and it gets kind of chilly, I love to pull that out and wrap it around me, but also it acts as a blanket. So if you get a big enough scarf, you can use it as a scarf and a blanket. That way it takes less space. Very, very helpful, very useful, and it can make any place feel like home, including an airport seat. Another thing I always bring with me, all my toiletries, all of my toiletries things. This was another question that I got, but I do bring all of the essentials for my skincare and all of that. I don't use hotel or Airbnb stuff because a lot of the hotel stuff is not as good as you think it's gonna be. Like, even if you have a very fancy high-end shampoo and conditioner brand, usually they're diluting it and putting in other stuff as samples for the hotel. I don't trust that stuff. I bring my own mini-sized shampoo, conditioner. I'm using currently a rosemary shampoo and conditioner for my hair that's very sensitive. And so I love that. I have my rosemary hair oil that keeps my hair strong and growing. And I also just have my basic skincare essentials like my all natural cleanser, which is actually cabbage oil, and it works really well. I got it at this little mom and pop shop boutique when I was in Copenhagen, but it's all natural, made from cabbage. Yes, it smells like cabbage, but it's so good for my skin. I haven't had any issues with my skin since I started using it, so I do bring that. And I bring an oil with me. So I love Primally Pure serums and oils on my face. And then I like to bring a small mini travel sized container of a face mask, whether it's one of those beaded exfoliant masks or one of those clay masks. I will use a plumping mask or something like that. I'll put a sample sized amount in that and I'll bring that with me in my trip because I only use those once a week. One of my favorite stores to get all my travel containers is Muji. We have one here in France, but I know they're in Japan and I think in New York as well. But I will get all my different containers, travel size containers from there, and I'll put my face mask stuff in a tiny capsule sized empty container from Muji. So those are just a few things that I bring with me on all my travels. It's really the oil cleanser, the serum, and then a little mini version of a travel face mask. A couple other musts that I always bring with me on my trips are my content digital gear for making content online. So one of the things I bring with me is a mini microphone like the one I'm using right now. This is a DJI mic that I attach to my phone, and I use my phone to record all of my content, and then I just pop in a little mic. It's super small, easy to use. I also use a new MOA LED high power rechargeable video conference light. So I use that for my classes, my calls, my readings, my astrology readings. The face masks, the most hydrating face masks that you can ever get that I swear by are from 111 Skin, Harley Street, London. 111 Skin is the basic name on the front of it. I get so many of these. Every time I'm traveling, I will buy a box of these. There's so many different versions of them that I love, but the one that I love the most is the depuffing energy facial mask in a blue, comes in like a blue packet. If you ever need a sheet mask, something that's gonna fully hydrate you on your long plane ride and make you feel like your skin just got a huge injection of hydration, get the 111 Skin face masks. I swear by them. I'll include a link down below to my favorite ones so you can see. 111 Skin, best ones. There is one other one that I just recently started using because it was the only one that was available at the airport pharmacy that I stopped by, and it's BioDance, Biocollagen Deep Mask, Hydrating Overnight Hydrogel Mask. This you can put on for 3 hours or even overnight for best results. I only like to put it on for like an hour and a half and I'm kind of done with it after. But oh my gosh, will it hydrate your skin so nicely? BioDance. You can find it on Amazon or at most pharmacies in the grocery store or at the airport. You can find these at the airport for sure. 111 Skin, though, is the one that I swear by, specifically the one in the blue packet. One final little mini travel packing tip I have for you is to pack things within bags within bags. So for instance, all of my camera and content making gear is in one linen bag. So for instance, I have a little mini hair bag, and within that bag is another small bag. And in that tiny little bag that fits in the palm of my hand are my hair ties and my bobby pins and my clips. And that little mini hair bag is within a bigger bag, which is my bigger makeup bag and all the things that I need on a daily basis. So all of the digital camera phone things are in one bag. And then within that bag, there's a smaller bag for your SD cards. There's another small bag for the light that you're going to use on your laptop when you need to take meetings. There's another bag within that for the microphone or for your charger cables. So Think of it as organizing the sections of your life into different bags. And then within those bags, you're organizing even more. I kind of think of it as like a Google Drive folder or a desktop folder. You have the main folder, and within that, you can categorize it. So, like in my Google Drive folder, I have a bigger section called projects. And within projects, it's categorized by podcast, YouTube videos, courses, the book, all the different things that I do. And then within each of those projects, it goes even further into the details. You click on courses, and there's all my different courses by category, by title. So think of it that way. If you want to pack for more organization, pack based on sections of your life, and then use bags upon bags upon bags to break things down. Kind of like one of those little Russian dolls. You're making it smaller and smaller and smaller. This is really helpful when you're trying to figure out where things are and how to just keep things nice and organized and clean in your suitcase. Someone asked, can I ask if you have prominent Sagittarius energy in your chart, or Aries perhaps? I'm just curious. You sound like you have some Gemini energy in you. No, I have no Sagittarius energy actually in my chart, but I do have Jupiter on my ascendant. So I may be a Scorpio rising, but I'm way more enthusiastic and bubbly than a typical Scorpio rising, and it is because Jupiter is on my ascendant. So essentially what you're seeing is the ruling planet of Sagittarius is on me. And so I'm very identified with Jupiter, even though I don't have any Sagittarius placements. So fun fact, even if you don't have any certain zodiac sign in your chart, there are other things about your chart that is showing you that. So like when I tell people that I'm a Taurus sun, people are always so surprised and shocked because they don't think I'm a Taurus based on typical pop culture, pop astrology that they see on the internet. But it's because I have Jupiter on my ascendant and I have a Leo moon on the midheaven. That's what you're seeing. Way, way more to astrology than just a zodiac sign. That's why I recommend learning how to read charts, which you can do in the Relocation Astrology course. In modules 1 and 2, I teach you how to read birth charts. Okay, let's continue on. Can you clarify the importance of the relocation chart versus the astrocartography planetary line? I talk about this in my course. I've also talked about this in previous podcast episodes. I'll include a link to the previous episode where I talk about this because this could go on for 20 minutes. I could talk about that. What do you do if you don't have your time of birth? You want to go to a chart rectification specialist. The people I always recommend are Patrick Watson, Catherine Urban, Lisa Scheim. There's a ton of amazing astrologers that specialize in this, but you need to go to a chart rectification specialist and they'll help you find your birth time by working backwards on your life and your life events to find the time that you were born. It's really important that you know your exact birth time, or if you get your exact birth time from a chart rectification specialist, which is someone who helps you get your birth time accurately, because every 4 minutes, the degrees of your angles will move by 1 degree. So, for instance, if you were born 20 minutes later than the time that you think you were born, then some of the outer planet transits, like your Saturn or Pluto or Neptune or Uranus, these long, slow moving outer planet transits, they could happen a year or two later. So I could make a prediction for you, but it might not be coming at the time that you think it will be because your birth time's wrong. If your birth time is off by even 10 minutes, these transits will manifest in your life a year later or 2 years later. This is where astrologers can go wrong and where predictions can go wrong. Because if a client is coming to you and they don't have their accurate, precise birth time, if they're off by 20 minutes, you're getting a whole different prediction. You will still have the same thing happen to you, but that astrologer may be telling you that it will happen 2 years later because the birth time is inaccurate. So this is why knowing your correct birth time is essential, especially for astrocartography and especially for making predictions based on timing using transits. So this is why going to a chart rectification specialist is really helpful. I hope you enjoyed this personal Q&A episode here on the podcast, all about relocation and moving and all of my tips and tricks and my mindset around moving, that it's not as hard as people think. However, I do think I should make the caveat, I don't have children and I don't plan to have children. I'm child-free by choice, thank God. And me and my husband have full freedom in our lives to go where we want because we chose this life. We chose to move to France. We chose to start over, to be away from our family, to live a life of freedom and to pursue our dreams. And this is the life we created and intentionally chose for ourselves, and we're living it. And it is a lot easier for us because we don't have obligations to family back home, because we don't have children to look after, because we don't have pets or animals. There's a lot more ease and freedom in our lives because of the choices that we have made for ourselves. And so all of these tips are valid, but also if you're in a different situation than I am, this might seem a lot harder to normalize. Moving might seem harder to normalize based on your circumstances and your environment and your factors. However, when it comes to possessions, letting go and getting rid of things and stuff, easiest thing in the world. And I'm going to recommend that you guys check out The Minimalists. The Minimalists actually was my first podcast that I ever listened to in Bali in 2017. That's where my whole journey began with listening to podcasts and personal development. Was I listened to the Minimalist podcast after watching their Netflix documentary. That was when my life journey began, with simplicity and asking myself, what do I value? Like the question of values and intentions became so huge in my life starting in 2017 because of watching their documentary, listening to their podcast, and eventually getting their books and reading about values. That has shaped who I am. And when you lead your life from your values first, and you get to the core essential part of who you are and what's most important to you, your priorities, life becomes a lot simpler. Life becomes a lot easier. It's like that famous quote I once heard that said, "When values are clear, decisions are easy." And this is something I absolutely believe. When your values are very crystal clear in your life, decisions are super easy for you. So leaving you off with this episode, I want you to think about this. What are the 4 words that describe your values? What is something that is really important in your life right now? And how can you create a lifestyle that supports that intention or value? Start with the lifestyle in mind first. Start with your values first, and then build a life that works around your values. If you want to go deeper on this, check out my book, Slow Living. I have a whole chapter all about how to find your values written in my first book. And I really recommend it. It's really helpful for getting more clarity on who you are, what you want, and what to prioritize. Because when you simplify everything down, life becomes simple and easy. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Let me know your thoughts down below. Leave a review rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast episodes. And you can also send me a message. Let me know if you enjoyed this episode. Comment the snail emoji. If I get a lot of DMs on Instagram with the snail emoji, I may make some more Q&As like this in the future. Depends on what you guys want to listen to. If you guys enjoy this, I'm here to help support you in your lives, make content and episodes for you. So if you like these kinds of episodes, personal Q&As, just send me the snail emoji either down below in the video comments or in a personal DM on Instagram. I'll see you all in the next episode here on Cosmic Compass. Have a magical day and happy astro travels.